Yo, what is up everyone? It is Mega, aka the Art Messiah, here to save you from your art sins. Today we are doing another live stream, just because I wanted to get to some personal work. So before we get started, I do want to do a mic check this time, because I know last time my audio was not present and I was giving a lot of explanations. Before we get started, I do want to do a mic check this time, because my audio was not present and I was giving a lot of explanations. Before we get started, okay, so it looks like my audio is coming through, and then the last piece of it is going to be the music, and then I just want you guys to let me know if it's too loud or too quiet, and I can adjust the volumes on my side. And I'm gonna go ahead and just turn it down a little bit, because I think it will be too loud, and we'll put it to about here. So yeah, let me know if that sounds good or bad, if you can hear my voice still. The goal and objective for today is going to be doing another life drawing class. We're going to be doing some gesture drawing, and then we're going to do some figure drawing, and then we're going to get into creating some of our own pieces from scratch. So something like this or this. And then what you see to the right was a style study I did from CT Chrysler. If you don't know who he is, just type him on Google or Instagram and give him a follow. He's really good with lighting, character creation, and a whole bunch of other things. Okay, so we're going to create a new document to go ahead and get started. And I'm gonna try using a pencil brush. It's gonna be textured. I like using textured brushes instead of the completely smooth brushes, because I like the randomness it can sometimes generate. And when you're drawing in real life, you know, you're not gonna have perfect lines, so I do like to use a pencil brush. Okay. So I'm going to make a quick post. About being live. And while I'm going ahead and getting that set up, if you do want to draw along, go ahead and grab some paper and pencils. I will be showing the poses that I'm drawing while I'm drawing them, so you can draw them well, as well if you want to. Like last time, I'm going to be using a website called quickposes.com, and I personally like this website because you can go back to the poses after you've had that session. So if you want to go back and clean up a drawing, you can always do that, and you can get the extra practice, or you can redraw something you felt like you didn't get right the first time. Alright, and gave you guys a minute or so to get that set up. Alright, so for this first session, we are going to do 10 images. We're going to do it for 30 seconds each, because this is the warm-up. 30 seconds is really quick, but this is going to force you to try to get the entire pose in 30 seconds, and no matter what, it's going to get you to loosen up. You won't be able to be tight while drawing these 30-second poses. And that's the only thing that we do these ones for. They're not to look pretty. They're not to look, you know, you don't really post these to social media unless you just want to show your progress. But these are just personal. They're for yourself, to get your arm warmed up. You know, try to draw with your arm, not your wrist. Okay. Okay, and let me go ahead and get my chat open so I can see what you guys are seeing and I can answer questions as I go along. Okay. And we're gonna do these clothes and costume so we don't get flagged or anything like that. Sometimes doing the others is good too because you can see the actual anatomy. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. 10 poses, 30 seconds each. Let's get to it. So with these clothes poses, it can be really hard to see what's going on behind the clothes. So this is what I was kind of saying before about, you know, you maybe don't want to do close poses if you're just learning and learning anatomy. You might not know or understand what's happening behind the clothing. This one's cool. This one's got a lot of perspective. I'm gonna start off with the head and then go down to the rest of the body. Now when you get this foreshortening, you know, this torso becomes shorter, these legs become like really short, and each section becomes shorter and shorter. And it might look funny while you're drawing it, but just try to focus on proportion when you're doing perspective like that, right? Okay, and these poses are quick, so we don't really have time to slow down. Okay, so basically also kind of think of this as just like drawing these in as like noodles, I guess. You know, some volume, but it's not so much about the volume, it's more so about getting the pose down first and foremost, because we only have 30 seconds. One thing I do that can help kind of speed this up is actually just using one line instead of, you know, multiple lines. And that can help you draw a little bit faster while you're doing this. And this is always the hardest one. I always get frustrated drawing these because I feel like I didn't have enough time to get the pose in and the anatomy. But you just got to remember it's not about anatomy for this. It's about getting the gesture. That's why they call it gesture drawing. So you're just getting the movement, you're getting the shape, you're getting general proportions, and really that's all you have time for. Okay, sometimes I like to start off with the torso. I feel like the torso gives you a lot of information about what's going on in the pose, right? So let's go ahead and get that torso in. And then this guy's going like this, arms, holding this gun thing, face here, and then this leg is coming out, and this leg was coming down like this. Okay. Yep, just to imagine relative proportions. Keep it loose. Just look how sketchy this is. This is okay. And that's the importance of this right here, is of this practice, is just realizing that making mistakes is okay. Because once you get into that, then your lines can be so loose. You can do anything with these lines, and you're not going to beat yourself up. Okay, sometimes I draw the gesture, which is that line first, just to kind of get things placed, right? And if you feel your arm being stiff, go back into this one line, right? I can feel me being stiff. I can also feel myself being a little bit like kind of nervous. Don't be nervous, just have fun with it. Okay. All right, and that's it, guys. Put your pens down. That was 10 poses, and this is what I was saying why I like quick poses, because when you're done your session, you can take a look at any of these poses and you can go back to do a little bit more sketching on it. So for example, you know, if I went to come back in, I'm like, oh, I didn't get to draw these arms in, I just went to draw these arms in real quick, then I can come in and I can do that, right? Draw that clavicle, draw that neck, right? He's kind of looking up at us, and right. Yeah. Or, you know, whatever pose you want to go back to. Maybe I want to add a little bit more to this one. Sometimes I like to focus on the silhouette. Alright, we're gonna keep breaking for like another minute or so. We'll just scroll through these sketches that we made so far. Okay. And also, while we're on this break, I'm gonna show you guys another warm-up that I usually pretty consistently do. Is that I will just start small, create a spiral, and spiral outwards, getting bigger. Okay, let's do that again. Just do this a few times until you can feel you're moving your arm and your arm is getting loose and you're not using your wrist anymore. Do the same thing, drawing a triangular type shape, right? This is just getting warmed up with your lines. And I think I've showed this in a lot of my videos, but I do this quite often to get warmed up. Another thing you can do is you can draw two dots, connect the dots. This is just going to help you, you know, create the lines that you want to create, right? And you know, just don't even use the undo. If you make a mistake, it doesn't matter. Just try to connect those lines as best as you can. Okay, again, draw big, draw into the small, draw big, go in small. Okay. Alright guys, now we're going to move into our 5-minute drawings. For these, we're only going to do 2, so that'll be a total of 10 minutes. And the reason I'm keeping it kind of short is that I want to move into my own characters and my own designs. And sometimes poses on these websites can be a little boring, or they're not the poses that you really want to draw. So I kind of just, you know, keep them in mind, hey, I'm doing this just to warm up, okay? So these are going to be our 5-minute drawings. We can take a little bit more time, but let's go ahead and still, the first 30 seconds of this 5 minutes, try to get that gesture drawing into place. All right, let's go ahead and give it a shot. I'm gonna go ahead and skip this one. This one's okay. A little bit hard to see, again, because of the clothing, but I think we'll be okay. So the gesture kind of comes out like this. I take note of my shoulders. The shoulder tells a lot of gesture. And then this line sweeps in, right? So look at that. That's already got a lot of gesture going. Now, focus on the direction of the hips. The hips kind of come around like this. This leg comes out, is bent out, and bent back in. Right? If you're having trouble drawing the pose, break it down into a stick figure like this. This is gonna help you out, okay? For the feet, I just draw triangles, pointing in the direction that I want the feet to be pointing in, okay? We can come back in and detail that later. Okay, this foot is out forward a little bit more, boom, okay? And look at that, you already pretty much have your proportions, you have your relationships, and you have your gesture already there. Now what you can do is, if you drew it in too dark, you can just lightly go over an eraser. When I did traditional drawing, I would use an eraser called a netted eraser or a kneaded eraser. Never really knew how to pronounce it, but you just come in lightly, right? And you kind of take these lines down a notch, right? Now we can come back in, and now we can start to add our form. I like to pay attention to the torso first, and I'm noticing a stretch on this side and a pinch on this side. So keep it simple. You don't have to worry about anatomy. This stage is also not about the anatomy. This is about now keeping that gesture, right? Making sure you still have that gesture in, but starting to give it some form and shape, okay? And I've made a video about how artists will choose, you know, their shapes based on their own preference. You can go ahead and use the type of shapes that I'm using, or you can use shapes that you think represent the human body a little bit better, okay? Personal preference. Okay. Focusing on keeping the lines nice and loose. Okay. All right. Alright, and so that's a nice, good gesture drawing. Now, similar to how we made the initial thing light, we can make this light as well. And now we can start to go in, add clothing, add in more detail. And I'm going to use the final pencil for this one. But yeah, let's go ahead and start adding more stuff in. Adding in the clothing is so easy after you've done the under sketch, right? Because the clothing just follows the body. So it becomes super easy to draw the clothing once you understand the underlying sketch and everything that's going on. Okay, and if you don't finish, it's alright. We're gonna come back to it. The second one I'm gonna draw a little bit faster. I was explaining stuff in the first one. So it's a little hard to see exactly what's going on here, so we're gonna just try our best to interpret this pose best we see fit. Typically when I'm doing poses like these, I usually don't bother drawing in the face. Faces, even when I'm doing my own poses and stuff, that's like the last thing that I draw, right? Because the face has to be precise to look good. And so what I do, just to start off, is to get the general just shape of it, right? Okay, so kind of liking how this is turning out. This clothing down here is kind of making it difficult to read exactly what's happening, but it's essentially something kind of akin to this. This pose is pretty easy, but it's also kind of stiff. I like to draw poses that are dynamic, but we'll go ahead and give this a shot as well. And again, we kind of have to guess what's going on here because we can't see. But based on other drawings I've done, I'm gonna guess it's gonna look, you know, something like this. So, how's everyone doing today? How's everyone holding up? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Alright, sure, let's do one more. I said I was gonna do 2, but I'm actually having a little bit of fun. And there's also no cap for how long you should or should not warm up. You warm up until you feel good, until you feel ready to draw. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep sketching until I feel good. And I feel like I am ready to draw. I feel like I'm getting there. I feel like I'm getting a lot looser with my lines, a lot more confident with them, and just getting more comfortable with the brushes that I'm using. Okay, so this pose is really dynamic and really expressive. Which makes it kind of a challenge, but a good kind of challenge. Oh, sorry, I've not been keeping up with the chat, but do you plan to do more live streams after this one? Yes, I do. I actually might make this a regular thing. I might try to do this every Wednesday. Because one, I think it keeps me focused on what I need to practice, what I need to learn, and then also it's kind of a lot of fun just to do this live. And I will continue to make how to draw videos. I just needed to kind of take a break. I needed to work on my comic. I need to create pages and stuff. And so just doing these live streams allows me to do like my warm-ups, but also I get to show you guys my process, you know, a little bit behind the scenes. So it's kind of like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And also I thought it'd be fun if people could draw along. I never really got to do any live drawing classes in person, so I thought, okay, well, why don't I just make it virtual, since people can't meet in person right now anyway, and yeah, just take it from there. So, yes, to answer your question, I will be doing more of these. This will not be the last one, so if you feel like, you know, you're gonna miss out if you leave, it's okay. I'm also going to be uploading this to my channel afterwards, probably for a short period of time. I just don't want to keep uploading these kinds of things to my channel and then people can't see like the really good concise stuff. So it will be online for a while. All right, cool, Samuel. I'm glad this can kind of push you out of your art rut. You know, when I get into like a rut, there's 2 things that I do. One, either I stop drawing, or what I'll do is I won't try to really force anything. I'll just try to do stuff like this. I'll just try to practice like individual things. You know, I won't try to create stuff from my imagination, because that takes the most energy, and it's also, you have to have the most motivation to do it, right? So I'll just practice, or I'll like go onto my Instagram and I'll see what other people are creating, and then I'll try to do a style study, you know? If I'm in an art block, I'll do a style study. Those usually help me. Yep. And yeah, I usually put music like this on, just stuff that's relaxing and calm. And then yeah, just kind of relax and go through it. Okay, so I'm gonna go back through and actually clean some of these up, but we're gonna go ahead and stop this session. I'm gonna spend some more time doing this. Okay, well, it looks like other people were finding this one challenging too. Yep, we're gonna spend a little bit more time on this. To answer Otaku, you say what do you draw on? I've actually created a video that explains what device I use. I currently use this Samsung Notebook 9 Pro. There's a new version out, but I like the one I have because it has a dedicated graphics card. It makes my drawing experience just smoother. And so, yep, I do enjoy that. So I'm not gonna recommend it for everybody, but I will recommend it if one, you have like the budget, right? It's not super expensive. I think it's like $800-900 now. But if you already have a computer and you just need a drawing tablet, you know, you don't have to go with something like this. The reason I do recommend it is that it's very mobile. I can take this with me anywhere, even though I'm not really going that many places right now for obvious reasons. But I do like that I can take it away from, you know, my main desk. I can draw in bed. You know, if I'm traveling, I can take it. I can draw on airplanes, you know, whatever. So I really do appreciate that. But before this, I was drawing on a Wacom Intuos. And then it's kind of weird to say back in the day because I'm not really that old, but my first drawing tablet was this like really old Wacom tablet that my brother had from college, but it was like really old, and so he gave it to me and he upgraded to like an actual usable one. So yeah, I have drawn on just like tablets before that don't have a screen, and that's just like a different drawing process, right? It's not bad. You can still create the same amount of drawings. For me, it takes me a little bit more time to get the line that I want. But definitely the cheaper option. So actually, what I just bought just to have a tablet, I bought a I don't know how to pronounce the name. It's like a Huion tablet, Huion. You guys can correct me on that. But yeah, thanks for the question. But yeah, you can draw on anything. I prefer traditional, but digital has so many benefits, especially when it comes to like streaming and stuff. Like setting up the proper camera setup to stream would be like such a pain. And so, yeah, I don't really want to do that. But I do have lots of sketchbooks. But I'm working on a comic right now, and I'm finding that I'm doing everything digitally. So you choose your medium, whatever makes you happy. Alright, so question for you guys. What do you guys have the most trouble with drawing? right. Hands or feet. Yeah. I feel like with hands and feet, they are the most challenging to get started off with, especially when you haven't really studied them before, because they're honestly odd shapes, right? And you don't really pay attention to feet or hands if you don't do art. And so when you finally do pay attention to them, you kind of realize how weird they look. But hey, maybe I'll do a hand or two before I move on. Okay, right now I'm just kind of, I don't know, over rendering, I guess. I need to move on. Alright. Oh, I actually wanted to finish this one. It's bigger for a sec. Alright, we got noses and lower body in general, but we're working on it. Cool. Yeah, everything honestly just takes work. What I'll do like a full pose like this, and then I can really tell like where I'm struggling or I don't really understand that form. So you can go into that specific body part and study that form specifically. That's a good way of approaching, of knowing what you don't know how to draw. Another way to figure out how, what you suck at is try to draw something from imagination, and then you're gonna realize how much you don't know about proportion or about how something looks, and that can be really helpful to know what you're struggling with most, right? Something that like I struggle with is putting the head in the correct place with inside the body, and I've come with some different tips and tricks to basically do it better, and I'll explain it someday, right? Actually fairly soon, because I'm talking about heads right now in my drawing series, but that's something that I've always kind of struggled with. Also, yeah, noses are funky as well. It's like one of those things you don't notice too much until you look at them. But their shape really isn't too bad. If you remember from geometry class, it's basically like a triangular prism, right? And so if you base it off that shape, you're probably good to go. I demoed it last time, and my mic was turned off. I forgot who asked that last time, but someone asked that, and I tried to explain it. But I'm gonna go into like full body parts, how to draw each body part, in future videos. So you can stick around for that. And by the way, the reason I'm creating these videos and these live drawing sessions, there's actually two reasons. It's not because I think I can teach it the best, because I know I can't, but I do know I can explain it in a way that I learned. And so my hope is that basically someone else can use that knowledge to their advantage, and it might just be a different explanation that you've seen in a book or you've seen elsewhere online, and it might just click a little bit better for you. And I've just spent so much time trying to distill the information into like actual useful information for myself, because my main goal is to want to draw from imagination, and there's not a lot of people that teach that. There's people that'll teach how to draw like specific things, but it's a whole different beast learning to draw from imagination. Okay, so that's my main objective. That's what I want to be able to reach, and hopefully one day I'll be able to get to that. Okay. Alright. And someone said I have trouble drawing in proportion. Okay, I have a quick tip for proportion. That is honestly kind of hard to explain, but I tried to do it in a video. I draw proportion based on relativity, and not necessarily measurements. So like, for example, this pose that we're looking at right here, I may look at it and be like, okay, well, first of all, let me draw just one thing in the photo. And that one thing oftentimes is going to be my torso, because the torso just tells a lot about what's happening, the twist, the pinch, everything. So if I start with this torso, right, I'm going to find all my body parts and proportions based off of this torso. So like, for example, I don't know, how can I kind of do this? Like this leg right here, like I might just make it out to an arbitrary point for right now, but I'm going to relate this leg to the other leg and make like a sweeping motion like this, and then I find like the other leg, and these leg angles I'm basing off of this torso. So like I can see this is the center line, right, and then I look at the angle of how the leg comes off of that center line and comes out like this, right? And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Same thing with this line right here. How does that relate to that center line of that torso? And when I come to draw on the arms, I know it kind of sits like this, right? And I notice that, hey, I know my, what's that, your bicep and stuff, it sits about halfway, or I guess a little bit lower than halfway on your torso. But since it's kind of coming in at an angle like this, it goes about halfway on the torso. And then, you know, another way to get proportions right is actually to start off with like a box, and then think about your negative space and shapes. So like for this pose, for example, like if I were to just draw like the big shapes, I'd be like, okay, it kind of looks like this. This is a shape, a shape, 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 shape. And when you take this approach, you're more so thinking about the negative spaces than the positive spaces and the different shapes that these limbs are creating, right? So this is like elbow to elbow, and this is like knee to knee, but you design with shapes rather than with anatomy. And actually, it's like people really talk about anatomy, like learn anatomy, learn anatomy. Anatomy is great for rendering, but if you're trying to draw from imagination, or if you're trying to draw dynamic poses, like just forget. I shouldn't say forget about anatomy, like don't know what anatomy is, but the only thing you need to know about anatomy is like where your joints are and the fact that you have like limbs. You know, you don't need to know the muscles, you don't need to know, you know, how to show that form and definition. That's an important thing, but that's an important thing for like the rendering. And I personally find rendering easy. It's like coming up with the poses and making sure they look right is the hard part. So yeah, practice anatomy, but I would honestly stress practicing like gesture drawing and drawing just the form first, and just get it so that it looks good. You know, drawing is an interpretation. It doesn't have to look perfect, and it doesn't have to be realistic. Okay, so that's gonna be it for my warm-up. I'm gonna move on to some other things. Give me 1 minute. Also, is my music too loud, guys? Oh, you're welcome, Youth, if that's how you pronounce it. Okay, guys, so we did our warm-up. I did some explanations. Now I'm going to move into some more personal stuff. I want to show you guys basically how to create your own poses and how to create characters from scratch using reference. I'm not going to do something where I can go completely off of imagination. I have done drawings like that before, but in this case we're going to do a combination between imagination and reference, and I want to show you guys the process for how to start from scratch to get to the finished piece. And hopefully we can get to 2 pieces today because I need to, you know, just get some artwork done for my comic. And then I see, Seda, that you're talking about a super chat. Now, I don't know if I can do a super chat because I haven't reached 1,000 subscribers yet. Can someone look that up for me, how many subscribers I need to do that? I don't mind turning on a super chat. I just don't really know how. I don't know where that option is at, or if I even can. A lot of stuff is not even available to me. Like, I can't do a community post, or just do a lot of stuff that you can do when you get to 1,000 subscribers. It's kind of strange. I don't know why they have that limit. Okay, so yeah, if someone can check out super chats for me, I don't mind turning it on, but I don't want to waste this stream doing random stuff. If you guys have questions about like character design or coming with characters, just let me know. Let me go ahead and start talking through the process now, though. Okay, so when I'm coming up with characters or I'm drawing stuff from references, there's a couple things that I keep in mind. One is the goal and the objective. Okay, so I think about who this character is, what this character is about, and what poses would kind of represent that. So I personally like to dance. I break. I'm part of a crew. I'm part of a b-boy crew, and so I want one of my characters to, you know, have that hobby of dancing, and so I want to choose a pose that is about dancing. And another thing that I want to say, there's a lot of artists that will they'll just draw standing poses or like just boring poses, or they'll go onto Pinterest and they'll just find like the pretty girls and they'll draw like a pretty girl, but there's no expression or anything. When I draw and I try to come up with characters and poses, I'm trying to think about them as a human being, right, with emotions and how they express themselves. I'm expressing myself through art, and humans express themselves through so many other things, such as dancing, talking, their facial expressions, you know, how they communicate with one another. So try to incorporate that into your drawing, because that's going to make your drawing stand out so much. If you can do some storytelling within a single picture and give something meaningful about the character, people that are looking at your art are going to be more easily connected to it, and they can probably relate to it a little bit more. Okay, so that's my tip. So here's the second tip. When I am looking for a reference, a lot of the times I won't go to the stock image places. I do use Pinterest because I know people do post some good poses on their own personal boards. But if I want to capture action and dynamic poses, I'll either record myself doing that action, or I will go to a YouTube video, and find different poses that I think are really cool and that I want to draw. So here's an example, and I'm going to go through these photos and we're going to choose which one I want to do for this one. I went to some YouTube videos. One of them was the Lay Twins. I really like them as just hip-hop dancers. They're not very good b-boys, but they are good dancers nonetheless, and I like the fact that they show a lot of expression while they dance. That's why I like to view their content. Okay, so we're gonna see which pose looks fun to do. Maybe we'll do more than one. This one's funny, he's got a funny expression. So yeah, I like to choose something that's got a little bit of expression and storytelling within it, and then we're gonna pretty much just try to make that better. We're gonna try to amp that up. So I like that pose, it's dynamic. And also like that pose because it's very dynamic as well. And honestly, this probably takes me the most time while drawing, is finding the correct reference. So I could spend hours looking through references and probably not draw anything, and sometimes you just need to start drawing and stop looking for that perfect picture. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, since I can't choose, I'm just gonna try sketching a few of these and just see which one I like the most. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with this one because I think I like this one. So we're gonna copy this, and we're gonna work in this document because I already have some stuff going on here. This was the pose that I did yesterday. I'm really happy with how it came out. What's up to the left is a piece of art from CT Chrysler. This is not my character, and this is not an original piece of art. I was simply trying to learn from his style. Okay, so we're gonna come back to this and clean it up afterwards as well. But for right now, we're gonna draw this picture. Let's go ahead and shrink these groups. Okay. All right. Is there any word on this super chat? Let me take a look myself. Give me a minute, guys. Super chat, YouTube. Okay, manage on off. Okay, let's see. Super chat and super stickers are a way to monetize your channel. These features let your viewers purchase chat messages. And let me click monetization. Okay, sign into my YouTube studio. Hold on a minute, guys. We're gonna try to get the super chat working. Okay, so I need to go into the left menu. I need to click on monetization. Yes. So in order for me to do a super chat, I need to get into the YouTube partner program. So I need 4,000 public watch hours in the last 12 months and 1,000 subscribers. So, I mean, you guys can help me get there. We're at 651 subscribers so far. And, you know, we're growing a little bit at a time. The family is growing. So, if you want to see those types of features, then let's go ahead and yeah, grow this channel some more. So I'm happy you guys are around and sticking around and learning to draw and just joining me on this art journey. And if you guys ever choose to try out this YouTube thing, you let me know, because I'll follow you too. Let's go ahead and create a really cool community here. Yeah, CT Chrysler, oh my goodness, like I honestly don't know how he does it most of the time. I've been following his work for, man, I don't know, maybe 10 years or so, back when DeviantArt was a thing. I mean, it still is a thing. I just feel like people don't use it that much anymore. But yeah, just the way he uses colors, the way he does lines, the way he does backgrounds, he just makes each art really personal. And so I am studying from him and a few other really important artists, because there's certain things I want to draw out from what they can do. And his style is cool. I like it how it's a mix between like manga and realistic, and so there's some elements of that in my style. But yeah, you'll see that my style is going to develop completely different from his, but I do still really enjoy his style, and from time to time I'll try to learn a little bit more from him. Okay, so we have the pose, and we are ready to start sketching and drawing, and I'm going to show you guys a process. I guess it's kind of like my secret process, because I use this process to draw from imagination as well. And the reason I'm using it now is so that I can develop those, you know, muscle skills. When I don't have this photo reference in front of me, I still know how to build up the picture correctly. Thanks, Samuel. Yeah, okay, cool. I hope I grow too. I'm not super concerned about it yet, but I find this enjoyable because when I was watching YouTube videos learning to be an artist, I would just watch so many different people because everyone had their own unique approach, and then I would just find the person that really like understood how I learned things, and I feel like helped the most for me. So basically, now that I'm training around and doing it myself, I want to be, you know, another option where it's like, man, I can't really learn that well from this dude, but like I like this guy's content. So hopefully I can provide something a little bit different, some unique advice, unique experience. But obviously you guys let me know. Okay, so drawing this pose, got distracted. So basically what I like to think of is, I like to think about this in steps. Okay, so I start with a large brush, a large marker. This is a custom brush that I've made. Perhaps I'll make it available if I put it up for sale on Gumroad or something like that. But basically, when you're drawing, you want to start from big to small. So big details to small details. And as I said, don't really focus on anatomy because that's small detail type stuff. Another thing is, don't start off with a small brush. Start off with the big brush, right? Because you're getting general shapes and general gesture. So what I do is I block in, just like a sculpture, I block in the gesture, right? I block in the form. Okay, with a big brush. And it's like, I feel like people sometimes have a feeling of, you know, not wanting to create a crappy looking drawing, but believe me, when you're drawing from imagination, sometimes you're thinking quickly. You're thinking more quickly than your pencil could put down on paper. So you use techniques like this to get poses down. So for example, I don't know, if we want to create a pose of what do we want to create a pose of? Maybe someone like shooting a basketball. Well, it's like, okay, they kind of got their hands going up in the air and their hand going down like this, right? One hand extended, one hand back. Maybe something like this. Maybe they're doing a fadeaway, so they're kind of leaning back like this, right? And they got one leg up like this, and they're shooting that basketball, right? So that looks really crappy, but it's fine. Like, you don't need to create a good drawing. You're just trying to get the pose down because you're drawing from imagination, right? And so now let me move into the next step, which is the second level of refinement. And now I use a smaller and slightly darker brush, right? And I could come in and I could start chiseling out these shapes a little bit more. I'm like, okay, well, it's gonna be something like this, da 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 da, right? Put this in here, leg, leaning back. Okay, and it's like foot, and it's like he's chucking this basketball, obscuring some of his face, hand, and then, you know, other hand right there. Head. Okay. And then that's like the second pass. And then you keep on doing that over and over again in iterations. And you guys, that was something that I had to learn, is just take your time, especially when you're creating from scratch. Take your time and really understand the forms, and then all those gesture drawings and figure drawings you've done, that's when you're really gonna put all that information to good use. Okay? Alright, so let's do the same thing with this one, but we actually have a photo reference, right? What I want to do is blow this up a little bit. I think this pose is just a little small. Also, you can start off your artwork small instead of like high definition. Start off small, and so that limits, you know, how small your brush can be, and so you're forced to focus on those big shapes. Okay, so second pass, I'm gonna keep the brush decently big still, and we're gonna carve out these shapes. Okay, notice what's overlapping what. And I'm sorry guys if I can't maintain talking and drawing the entire time. Streaming can be kind of difficult in that way, because you're obviously trying to focus on the drawing aspect, but then you're also trying to provide information and content for people to listen to. But that's also why I have some background music on, so I hope you guys are enjoying that. Now if you're still drawing along, go ahead and find a pose. You can get it off of Quick Poses, or you can do like me and get it off of a video. And you can try this process out yourself and see if you like it. Working from big to small, loose to more refined. And that's, again, why we warm up that way. Because you start off with 30-second drawings, and then you move into 5-minute drawings. And so that's a good representation too of how you're going to be drawing, right? You do quick drawings, then you do slightly slower drawings, until you get to that refined piece. And I don't go crazy with my rendering because I don't think it's necessary for storytelling to be like hyper detailed, hyper rendered. And that's just me personally. Some people will look at my style and be like, oh man, that's so loose, you know, it should be more defined. I'm okay with that, because I always know that I can come back at any point in time to any of these drawings and make them as tight as I want them to be, right? So I don't get too bent out of shape on that. Okay, so look at that. That is already pretty cool looking. So at this point in time, I do want to try out a different outfit, okay? And I'm not going to use what they have in the drawing. And I don't know if I want to do the jumpsuits that my characters are going to be known for because they're mechanics. We're going to hop over to my Pinterest, and I think my screen should still be shared, and you guys will be able to get a look into how I got my Pinterest set up if you're interested. Thanks, Sater. If that's how you pronounce your name, please let me know if I'm wrong. But yeah, I listen to a lot of jazz hop. Okay, so I have a bunch of different stuff in here: dynamic poses, working poses, just all kinds of things. We're gonna hop into my fashion board. That is incomplete, but I've been really digging some like Afro punk styles. I think they look really cool. And just other street styles and just other styles in general. Like we got a nun that for some reason has guns, you know, just all kinds of stuff, right? So I don't know, we might be able to play around with this idea of a jumpsuit, but we might add a little bit to it, okay? We might add like an overcoat or something interesting. Alright, so yeah, let's go back up towards the top. Alright, I don't know, we'll just come up with something on the fly. Okay, so third step, you've got the pose down. Now we want to draw in the clothing and some other important details that are going to bring this pose to life. You can either do it on the same layer or you can make another layer. I've been trying to work more on one layer to make it more kind of like traditional feeling, I guess. Oh, thanks, John. You have to share your Pinterest board, maybe. I'm always looking for more pins and more ideas. I can lose so much time scrolling through Pinterest. Thank you. Okay, so I really want to show one thing. I know for sure that I'm gonna want to show this hair coming forward, because that's going to show the movement. Alright, so when I'm drawing a dynamic pose, I'm really trying to think of where things are moving to and where they have moved from. Okay, so I can tell like this hand moved from this direction. So sometimes I'll go ahead and draw in like a line or so just to get that movement. Same thing with these feet. And I try to make these lines match the gesture. And this is gonna really make your drawings look more dynamic if you do this. Okay, this actually might be moving backwards.
Perhaps I was talking when I should have been listening.
And see, this is the importance of working in big shapes first. You can try out different things, and even though I'm drawing off of reference, I am also drawing elements that are going to be uniquely mine. Let's make this bigger for a second. So let's just go ahead and make a general hair shape going this way, and then a general hair shape going this way. So I kind of like the hair shape kind of coming out this way, but I might need to mess with that a little bit because I'm not completely happy with it. Alright, we're gonna make a new layer. I want to try out some different clothing. That's the nice thing about working digital, you can just experiment more. Okay, so this first thing that I'm gonna do, I really want this character to have like a really big fluffy jacket. I don't know why, but I think it will look cool. But it's got some like tight cuffs, but yeah, I want this jacket to be just maybe even not unnecessarily big. Okay, I like how this is gonna flap up like this, right? He's moving downwards. I want you guys to just picture this motion. This character is swooping in downwards. And so guess what? When something is moving this direction, the clothes are going to go in the opposite direction. Okay, so he's moving this direction, the folds and clothes go in the opposite direction. So that's why you see here that these lines are going upwards. The clothes are going upwards because that's where he used to be. So draw your clothes basically lagging behind your body. It's like your clothes are trying to keep up with your body, is how I imagine it, right? Okay, so I'm thinking that's kind of cool looking. And I kind of like that already. Now for this part, I'm actually going to, it's gonna have this kind of shirt tied around his waist, right? And this is kind of the part where you're drawing from imagination because you don't really know how it's gonna come out right now. And you're just drawing some big shapes about what you might think might work out, right? When you're thinking about form, but yeah, I'm liking the movement that these clothes are creating. And sometimes that's how I figure out what fashion I want to use. I try to choose fashion that's going to accentuate basically the movement. Okay? And that's actually something I kind of picked up from dancing. Right? It's like you want to wear the types of clothing that are going to make your dance moves look better, not worse. Okay? So I'm liking that. I'm liking everything so far. Except I haven't figured out what I want to do with this hair yet. So I may just leave that off right now. Let's go ahead and just add in some minor details here for the head. Again, use this big brush. We're not doing the fine details. This is how this drawing started out too. It started off just like this. You're figuring stuff out, and it can be frustrating because a lot of the times when you see artists, you don't really see the behind the scenes of. Ooh, a cape would be cool. Yeah, it kind of looks like he's throwing back a cape. But yeah, a lot of the times you don't get to see this part where it's like you just have to experiment, right? There's a lot of drawing where you're just experimenting until you find something that works. And that's kind of part of the fun. But you also have to have the right tools and the process in order to get your vision to come across. Okay. Now, actually, I guess you could be wearing a hat or something like that. That might be kind of interesting looking. Like a, I don't know, a really wide brimmed hat. I don't know if I'm gonna like this or not, but you know, it's another thing you can do while drawing. You can just have fun and experiment. Even if you had like a fedora. Now he looks like a Michael Jackson. But could be interesting. All right. Enjoy your dinner, Seder. I may or may not be here when you come back. Oh yeah. I do not know how I feel about these fashion choices, but we are going to stick with it for right now. Because I like the emotion that it's giving the character. Okay, so I would say that's like phase 3. And we can kind of backtrack. So first phase was doing the base color. Second phase was adding in the line work to get the body proportions and the form. The second was to do some fashion design. And at this point, I can kind of see how everything clicks together. And so I can go into line work. However, you can do another pass. You can make this lighter, draw again, make that lighter, draw again. You can do as many iterations as you want. In order for myself to stay loose with the process and to not spend too much time on any particular piece, I try not to over work it. So I'm going to stop right here. I'm not going to stop the stream, but I'm going to go into the final line work. Okay. So what we do is we drop the opacity down, both of these layers. And I've been liking this ink brush. I think it's a default brush in Photoshop, actually. Okay. And we're gonna come in here and start drawing. This can be difficult to know where to start, but we just gotta start somewhere. Okay. So I'm gonna start with this sleeve. And so one thing I want to throw out there right now is that be forgiving with yourself while you're creating art. Don't think that every line has to be perfect. Something that can happen, and it happens to me often, is that when I draw digitally, I get this feeling that it has to be perfect because I can keep on undoing it and redoing it. If you can, try your best to limit how many times you click undo. I know I'm clicking undo a lot. I'm not being the best example, but try to limit that, and that's gonna help you stay loose in your lines, energetic. And there's some artists where their like lines get really stiff when they start creating the final lines, and you don't want that to happen. You want the lines to stay dynamic, and have that energy and life, right? Oh yeah, I can see this sword swinging as well. I think that's why I like this pose. It's got a lot of action and movement to it. It's even more than just a dance move. I feel like this can kind of go in many different directions. And maybe I just need to decide okay, and recently I haven't been all too detailed with drawing hands. I can draw hands. I just know that it takes me a while to get just like perfectly right, and I'm more so interested in the gesture for right now. So we are gonna leave it at that. That's okay. Also, if you guys have questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer as many as I can while I'm drawing. They can either be about my drawing process, different things I'm working on, what you'd like to see in future videos. Okay, this other hand, I'm not honestly entirely sure what's happening. I'm trying to do this move myself. It kind of looks like his palm is facing us. And if that was the case, he's stepping forward like this or stepping back. His thumb should be going yeah, on this side. Okay, so I had to physically just kind of act that out just so I could get a better idea of what's happening here. So the thumb's gonna be coming this way. Welcome to anyone that's joined recently. We're just in here drawing and sketching. You got some 3D modeling going on. I've done that before. I've tried 3D modeling. Well, actually, I do it all the time because I'm a design engineer. But yeah, I know how time consuming that can be. What kind of stuff are you modeling? You said you're rigging something up, so are you modeling characters? Alright, I don't know if we're gonna keep the hats. We're gonna do this on a different layer. Okay. We're gonna switch my brush now to another brush. This one I can get a little bit finer details. But again, I'm still not gonna be zooming in too much. Okay, so for this, I think we're gonna keep it at a smirk. Now, there's the fun part. We get to kind of see how much we've created so far. So we're going to turn off these layers. And now we got something like this. Now we're going to turn those layers back on for now. Okay, so this is how I do it. Okay, no time lapse, just takes a while. You gotta figure stuff out as you're drawing, and it'll come with time. But you can't rush the process. So yep, just take your time. Alright, so there's two different things that I can do at this point. Sometimes I will be like, okay, well this is it, this is the final size, or I can size it up and add more detail. Really just depends on how much time I want to spend and how much detail I'm going to want to add, right? In this case, I think I might come back to this drawing here in a second because I haven't made that decision yet, and I don't need to rush that decision. But, you know, I've got the general idea of what I want to do with this pose. Welcome back, welcome back. I'm just learning Blender. Earlier I modeled a basic scene with giant swords on an island, and then I took the rendered photo into Clip Studio Paint to tone it and add detail for manga background practice. That's really good. I need to, I just started incorporating some 3D into my drawing process, but I haven't really gotten that far into it. But that's a good way to learn perspective and drawing form. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good skill to have, man. That's cool. Oh, okay. This is what we have so far, people. I feel like I can do a lot more to it. So I'm probably going to size it up a little bit and continue to experiment. But I also just want to go back to the sketching phase for a second, because originally I was supposed to draw more than one. So let's go ahead and draw some other poses just for fun real quick. Oh, Control Z is so convenient. Perhaps I rely on it too much. Perhaps I should stop using it so much. Okay. So maybe perhaps I can move on. I'm not really sure why I'm rendering this out so much. This is supposed to just be a sketch. All right, let's see. A couple of things that I want to do. Yeah, that's when you know you've been doing digital drawing for a while. It's been forever since I've done traditional. I can't even remember when the last time was. I think I was doing some Zeus sketches with my girlfriend, and I was drawing in an actual sketchbook. But it's just like digital is cheaper for me because if I want to do painting and coloring, it's so much easier. I just have it all right here, and I don't have to buy more paints, and it's also not messy. So. The thing that hasn't really worked so well for me in terms of digital is being able to rotate my canvas. Whenever I turn that graphics card setting on, my Photoshop runs really slowly, so I have to physically rotate my tablet, but then it messes up with basically my pen alignment. So I do miss that about traditional. I can just rotate and throw my book around however I want to. All right, we're gonna work on this piece for a little bit. Alright, there's a few things I want to do. I want to clean up the coloring, add in some more variation, and also color some of the lines, plus add in a background. So we're going to try to do that now. And to do that, keep it small for now. Alright, so I'll show you guys a little bit of my coloring process. I've been liking to keep it really simple. Okay. I usually work from background to foreground, but I didn't know I wanted to add a background until a little bit later, and I'm like, why don't I throw a background into here? Okay, so I'm trying to look for a brush right now that's going to be a good brush for clouds. And I might just use a basic brush to do the clouds, but I'm just seeing if there's anything that can help me get the texture that I want for the clouds. I actually kind of like this brush. Okay. Thanks, Bokuto. Thanks for stopping in. Let me know if you guys want me to talk about something in specific. Otherwise, I'm just going to be sitting here chilling drawing. Now, when you're using textured brushes like this, it's important to make sure that you don't just rely on the texture of the brush, but you actually kind of think about composition as well, and that's what you kind of saw me doing right there. I was just trying out a whole bunch of different things. Right. Yeah, I do have a Twitter, but I don't use it. I don't really get on it, so I'm sure you can find it if you go to like my DeviantArt or some other place. I have it posted somewhere. It's just, there's so many platforms and I just want to simplify down to just a few. So I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube, Comic Fury. Always gotta shout out Comic Fury because that's where I got my start. That's where I post all my comics. But yeah. Okay, so there's a few things. So basically I'll drop in colors, something like that, in simple composition, very simple composition. The end scene is going to be cropped, and I know it's going to be cropped, so I'm not worried too much about background detail, right? If I have some background detail in there, it's going to be very minimal. And honestly, I like not seeing the city in the background. It makes it look like he's that much higher up, so probably going to keep those off. I like the sky, but we're going to go ahead and mess around with the colors a little bit. Okay, one thing I want to try is to saturate that a little bit, make this darker, bring up the saturation. Okay. And this is all about feel right now, and just changing the colors and then asking myself, does it feel right? I feel like it should be more orange if it's going to be this dark. And I kind of like that, to be honest. So I'm going to remember the settings, 18, 67, 13. I'll write those down. Yeah, I mean, if you follow me on Twitter and you message me, I may see it. I just don't get on very often. Better place to follow my work is on Instagram. And I get on DeviantArt just to do batch uploads when I want to see my progress in total. Okay, so then when I find something I like, I should have done this to begin with, I'll just duplicate the layer and I'll try some different color settings. So like the color setting I had before, it looked kind of nice. So we're gonna go ahead and try to put that back in. I really like that. Negative 13. And this boosts it up to 67. Okay, so this is what I like to do. I go to extremes. So I'll go extreme saturation down to extreme desaturation. Extreme to extreme. And then I won't even pay attention to the slider. I will just adjust it until it feels right. Like that feels like about good enough color. So that's 31. Now for the lightness, same thing here, maybe I'll make it lighter because the background is faded. So something like this actually looks pretty good. Okay, so we're gonna click OK. And let's go ahead and turn on this off and on. Okay, so personally I think this orange one looks better. It's giving me some evening vibes, and it's gonna help me finish up the coloring for this. Okay, so this is gonna be the last thing I do for the night, guys. I'm gonna finish coloring this up. The other pose that I drew, I don't know, I'll color it up maybe tomorrow or something like that. Yeah, I feel like when it comes to social media, people can get overwhelmed because there's so many, and then they're posting everywhere and they have to post all the time. And when I the moment I realized I didn't want to do that was when I saw Ross Tran, and I like him as an artist, and I appreciate his hustle as well. But when he went to explain basically how much time you would have to spend updating all his social media, he would literally put aside days to grow his social media accounts. And that's what you have to do if you want to get like popular and get popular decently quickly. You have to be on a lot of different places. And there's a time and place for that. I'm just not in a place to do a lot of marketing because I want to focus in on my art and my ability to teach and just creating and developing my style and really just having fun with it. So, and it's nice to have that focus of like, oh, I don't have to spend an entire weekend updating my social media. It's like, no, I just take progress shots as I draw. I'll take one right now, post it to Instagram. And it keeps me focused, keeps me drawing, but it doesn't take a lot of time to do. It takes me like a minute, and I can show people snapshots of what I'm working on and hopefully get them, well, not get them interested, but if they're already interested in my art, then they can see it. Okay, so now we've got a simple sky background going. If you follow my artwork, you'll know that I'm intentionally keeping things really simple because I want to work on these fundamental skills without getting or feeling overwhelmed. And I recommend that to other artists that feel overwhelmed, like there's just so much to learn. Keep it simple and break it down into things that you need to focus on. So I feel really comfortable with drawing right now, and sketching and drawing the human body. Now what I'm focused on is kind of coloring and really defining my style more and more. So that's what I focus on. And when it comes to color, I'm focusing in on lighting. And so I don't try to paint in a lot of details. I just try to paint in interesting looking lighting. And to me, this looks like some interesting lighting and I like it. So yeah, we just go with it. So I'm coming in here and just cleaning things up. When I do my first pass of coloring, I throw in the colors quickly because I want to see how things are going to work together. And then this part is just kind of like the tedious phase where you just have to go in and be detailed about it. Hey, I don't wanna force anybody to make accounts on places they don't want to be on. But yeah, if you do sign up, go ahead and follow me over there. And if you're posting stuff, I might follow back. But I am going to be completely honest. I try not to follow too many people because I want my newsfeed to just be like the best of the best. And so maybe on a separate account I can make it where I follow a lot of people back. But yeah. Alright, so I was messing around with different colors before, and here's a turquoise color. I kind of liked it, but what do you guys think? Turquoise or yellow for his jumpsuit? Let me know in the chat. I'll show it one more time. Turquoise, yellow, turquoise. Okay, cool. Just checking. I know some people can't stand a certain social media or certain companies for a variety of reasons, and so yeah, I wouldn't feel right recommending something or having someone get on something that they're like don't feel so good about, because I totally get it. I don't like the practices of some of these companies myself. And yeah, so hopefully you guys can see how many, I don't know if you guys can see my layers. But this is about how many layers I use to color. You can honestly color on one layer, but I like to do color variations and see which color I like most. And so that takes a few layers sometimes. Alright, John, I'm gonna go check out your work right now. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna check it out, see what you got. If you followed me, hopefully it'll be easy for me to see your name. Yeah, follow me at Art Messiah, and then I'll come check out your page. I'm lazy and I don't want to search. Okay. And the reason I don't color too much because I feel like coloring is kind of a tedious process, you know, but you just gotta come in, you gotta go layer by layer. Oh shoot, I didn't see you pop up. Though Instagram has been really bad at showing notifications, so it may very well be that. I'll just type you in John the Fisherman. Oh, okay. Dang. All right, man. You got the manga style down. Got some Naruto. You got the OG. Oh, you got some Hunter x Hunter. Yo, Hisoka is a badass. He definitely makes Hunter x Hunter more interesting. Yeah, this is some nice stuff. Yeah, I can see you incorporating some of that that 2D and 3D. Your line work is really crisp as well. Alright, my dude, I followed you back. You should check out Hunter x Hunter. It's a show that kind of starts off slow, but the series like keeps on picking up over and over like after each arc, and I just like how unpredictable it can be. Some stories I go in, I'm like, yeah, I already know it's the main character, he's got plot armor, this and this is gonna happen. But Hunter x Hunter kind of keeps you on your toes a little bit, so give it a shot. Mega Man Zero. Oh yeah. So yeah, if you follow me, you probably already know. Fan of Mega Man Zero. Like, that's just what's up. It all started a long time ago when I was just a wee lad. So basically the way I got that game and got into the series was that my older brother had it and he couldn't beat the first level, and he told me that if I beat the first level and I beat the first boss, then I can have the game. And I didn't really have that many games for the GBA, and so I kind of played that like night and day, and then I think a couple weeks later I finally beat the boss. But those games were so challenging on the Game Boy Advance because there was no like save points really, and you only had 3 lives, and I didn't know about like the elf system or anything like that. And so I think the boss was Mega Man 02. But I think the boss was like some snake. It was like some snake boss. And it was an intense battle. I remember the frustration. But yeah, I got the Mega Man Zero collection on the Switch to continue playing, but I just haven't really got that much time. Work and art didn't really leave too much else time for too much else, which is kind of cool with me. Like, I love drawing. I love listening to music and drawing. It feels really good. So I don't mind giving up playing video games. I still play Super Smash occasionally with my fam, so like it's cool. Okay, so I pretty much went in and cleaned up most of what I wanted to clean up, except there's one thing I wanted to add. On here, I want to make these sleeves a paler color to show that it's folding in on itself. Okay. I like using overlay to put in highlights. I think it works really well. Yeah, that's funny because I haven't watched Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah. I'm sorry, I can't speak. I haven't watched Yu Yu Hakusho. And I've heard great things about it. Obviously, the same creator, so everyone's been telling me to watch it, and I just haven't got around to it. But maybe I'll start tonight because yeah, it looks like an interesting show. Yeah, I don't like doing background, but when releasing manga webtoon, so I've been practicing that mixed 2D 3D technique. Yeah, backgrounds I'm struggling with, but here's one background that I made. My comic's gonna be kind of like this weird mix between like a pixel style, because I want to make it interactive and animated. Actually, I am pretty proud of this animation that I made, so I'm gonna post it in this chat, and you guys can let me know how it came out. It'll take a little while to load, but you guys let me know what you think of that animation. I'm sure I'll post it on the channel at some point in time. Okay, that's cool. Oh, also I can show you guys the reference for this photo, so you guys don't think I'm some like genius having created this. Let's go into my all pins, and here's the reference I'm basing this off of. So you let me know how I did compared to the reference. Let me know if I did it justice or not, right? Okay. So yeah, in terms of web-based stuff, you have to try to keep the quality down for like loading times and stuff, but it still takes a while to load, so that's a little bit frustrating. But anyway, that's why I'm trying to choose a little bit less, I shouldn't say less quality, but smaller image sizes, so that I can, you know, produce this interactive content and still have a load for my viewers. And of course, all this stuff is still in in the works. So expect improvements and changes. Thanks, guys. Okay, so just adding a little bit of dimension here by adding some color variation. Okay, I'm gonna call this piece pretty much done. Part of me wants to blow it up and work on the face and add a lot of detail into the hair. Actually, no, wait, I'm not done. There are a few things that I want to do. But first, I'm gonna go ahead and save this document, because I did a lot of work so far. And, okay. Sometimes I like to keep working this in the same document because it kind of keeps me inspired as I'm working. I can see the other art that I've created, and it's kind of like, oh yeah, I can do this. If I take the time and I'm patient about it, I will be able to create something cool. One of the things that I wish is that I could be a faster artist. And the reason is because there's a lot of art that I want to create, but I feel like it takes me a lot of time to make it and to get there. All right. So we size this up. I am going to add in some final touches now. Now that we got the art sized up, we'll keep it messy for the most part still, but we're going to add some detail onto the face. Then we're going to color the lines. And I'll show you guys how I color my lines to make the art pop out even more. But first. Here's some things that I want to add. Okay, I also like to use multiply layers like this one. Wow, this beat is nice. I'm about to start freestyling, you guys. Right, and what this multiply layer does lets me color a shadow on, it doesn't really matter what the color is underneath, it will darken it. Oh, sorry guys, I'm working a little bit off screen here. Apologize for that. Okay. Now we are creating what I will call my detail layer, and let's use a textured brush maybe. Yep, let's use my textured brush. Let's try some things out, right? Alright, so we're just trying things out. And that's a lot of drawing, right? Experimentation. So have fun with it. Have fun with the experimentation. Don't act as if it's a drag or anything. Try different things out and see what you like, see what you don't like. Right? That's gonna be a nice golden eye when I went to pop. So I like to do the highlight second. You can start off with your highlight color, but you know, it's just personal preference. Okay, we're gonna make that just kind of pop out there. And I don't even know if I want eyeballs. Looks kind of cool without having any eyes, but now we got some eyes added in here. Okay, and then on a layer above everything, including my line work, what I like to do is create a layer for my white that are going to be whoa, that's weird. You know what, I'm gonna make this orange color juicier, and by that I mean up in the saturation a little bit. I don't seem to be doing anything though. This might be the wrong layer. Nope, it's not. What's going on here? Alright, I just want to boost up that saturation a little bit. On my screen it looked a little dim, so yeah. Yeah, so that's what happens. I'll try these color variations, and then I'll be like, wow, I kind of like that. And I like the pink sky. And then I'll spend like 10 minutes flipping it on and off. So now I just create it and I let it be. I let it be on another layer. Let's try this out. We got this pink background and he's got, what about a turquoise jumpsuit? Nah, I still like the yellow better. But that does look cool. The pink background does look dope. I agree. Looks dope. Okay, I'm getting distracted as per usual. What's going on? What's on this layer? Nothing? Okay, what I want to add now. Oh, I know what I was trying to do. I had created a layer up here and I want to see why. It's only affecting my line work. I don't know why it's doing that. Photoshop is weird sometimes, I swear. Okay, sometimes I add in an absolute white to make things pop. I don't know if I'm gonna actually use this in the final comp, but just thought I would at least try and see what kind of effect I can get, right? And I'll use these highlights sparingly and usually to draw attention to something. Right, and you can add just like an extra layer of depth. Again, I don't know if I'm going to keep these highlights. I'm just trying something new. You know, sometimes that's drawing. Sometimes you just need to try some new things. Alright, we're going to keep that for right now because I think it looks kind of cool. Yeah, colors are tough. Yep. Yes, they are. I do like doing them digitally just because I have so much flexibility for when and how I change them. But colors and find the right color palette can be difficult. I do have 2 recommendations for that, but perhaps I'll save that for a future video. This is the method that I have. Like, I'll just drop in a color quickly and then I'll do color adjustments until I'm happy with it, right? Okay. So we keep that for now. I'm gonna break for dinner here soon, guys. I'm just gonna color the line work and I'm gonna call it a day. But again, thanks for the people that have dropped in. It's been fun. Hopefully you gained a little bit of something out of it. Alright, we're gonna do a layer for the hair specifically now. Yeah, if I do more sessions like this, then probably gonna do it in a similar format. And it'll probably be chill, so. Just showing you guys the process. I like seeing artists' process. It gives me inspiration and ideas. Maybe like, oh wow, I haven't tried that before. That's an interesting shortcut. You know, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I have fun making these, so I'll do it again. But I know my cap is probably going to be 1 to 2 hours because I can feel my steam depleting very quickly. And we're about at that 2-hour mark. And then maybe some days, specifically, I'm thinking about doing a stream for comic artists, and I don't know how I'll do it yet. Maybe I'll like review other people's comics, or we'll just talk about comics. I don't know yet. Or we'll like read through comics together. And by comics, I mean like other people's like comics, not like big comics like One Piece or anything like that. Like actual creators. There you go. So I'm actually really happy how this is turning out. I'm really happy with how the face turned out. So that's dope. Okay. Yeah, duplicate this layer because we're gonna color it. All right. Okay, so now we're moving into coloring the line work. I'll go ahead and explain this. What you want to do is you want to click this colorize button. You want to increase the lightness. Actually, hold on. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, I think I did that wrong. Hold on. Let me just go back. Oh, they're on 2 different layers. This is the layer I wanted. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and hit Control U. That's gonna bring up your hue saturation adjustment. Click this colorize button, go into this lightness, and go ahead and make it lighter first and foremost. Okay, so what I like to do is first just do a lightness adjustment. You want to make it lighter, but not necessarily like too light. Honestly, I can probably keep it pretty dark. I'm just gonna lighten it a little bit. Okay. Because this is kind of in the shadow, so we want that to be dark. Alright, so for this layer, so this actually looks kind of cool with the line work off. Besides like this line work. So we're gonna take those 3 layers, we're gonna duplicate those layers, and we're gonna merge those layers. And then basically I'm like, okay, well, let's do the light line work first. And I know the light line work is going to be around like light colors. So for example, this is like a light color. You know what, I'm not going to do it that way this time. I'm going to create a clipping mask. You can do that by hitting, I think it's Alt, and then clicking on the in-between layer, and that'll create a mask layer, a layer mask. Okay, now that I have that selected, let's go ahead and select my yellow color and make it darker. Okay, so we're gonna color with something like this and just see how this kind of looks. And we can always color adjust later, so if you color too much, just go ahead and erase it. Okay, some lines you may want to keep dark. Okay, especially things like these clothing line wrinkles. I'm definitely going to want to lighten those up. Okay, we can turn this on and off, and we can kind of see how it's making this image pop a little bit more by blending some of these lines in. Okay, so let's do something similar with these sleeves. I don't like the color that I'm using, but I do want it to be light, but also just want it to be gray or darker. Maybe something like this. Let's try that out. Yeah. Keep going with that. Remember, stuff further away from the camera is going to be lighter, so that's why I'm lighting up those lines. Let's go ahead and bring back this color and lighten these lines back here. Okay, and so the idea is just to blend your line work more into the image. That's all. Alright, guys. I'm about to peace out, so if you guys have any final questions, you can ask them now. But we are entering the wrap-up stage. I'm pretty happy with this artwork so far. I think it's got potential. Hopefully you guys could take something away from the doodling and the sketching. I am decently happy with this. I think the style is coming along slowly but surely. I just need to make sure that I don't make it too coloring bookish. So I think that the line work and stuff it's got some nice texture to it, and the brush has got some nice texture to it. But okay, so anyways, thanks everyone for watching. You can follow me at Art Messiah on Instagram or here on YouTube, Mega Master. Subscribe, like, share, ring that little bell to get notifications if you want to be alerted when these live streams start. I think I'm gonna try to do them Wednesday. So yeah, thanks for everyone for joining and drawing with me today. And expect more to come into the future. So, peace and deuces, and that is going to be all for tonight. Oh, I'll stick around for the humble request, depending on what it is. The link for the playlist. Oh. Well, if you have a Spotify account, then you can find this list. Let me see if I can get the shareable link. Copy link to playlist. Perfect. I think you can also listen to Spotify for free, but you gotta listen to ads. But I really like this playlist because they also update the music every couple of months or something like that. I used to listen to Chill Hop here on YouTube. It's pretty much like the same thing. But alright, I don't know if the chat stays when I upload this to YouTube, but any important links I am going to put in the description of this video when I upload. Again, thanks everyone for watching. Hope you guys have a great night, and deuces.